Poems of Isolation. Hunting for Easter eggs in the sunshine. I remember that absurd bubbling over excitement, elation on Easter Day, during church, and with wriggling and fidgeting as Reverend Bell had his say. Penned in the impatient family pew, we couldn't wait until the sermon finished, ground to a halt, the stone having been rolled away, the holy stuff banished. And with his final blessing we were going to be let out and run off to the farm, praying irreverently that the sun would not have melted or done any harm to chocolate treasure that awaited searching away from Miss Molster's organ. Down through the village we gathered in Granny and Grandpa's springtime garden. We grandchildren and others who lived nearby of similar age eagerly partook in the annual ritual of hunting for Easter eggs, where a dozen or so ran amok. Adults attended for social nicety, rubbing shoulders with the Colonel and his wife, a justice of the peace. Granny was the perfect hostess, and so much larger than life. And while we scampered around the garden, the grown-ups looked on with sherry, bejewelled and set in crystal-cut glass. They offered up their experience with merry advice. "Warmer, you're getting warmer." We knew that we must be right on track, getting nearer to that place where another chocolate egg, encased in glittering wrap, must be awaiting discovery, to be scooped up by greedy fingers and safely banked. Parental advice might be cooler, much cooler, oh freezing, and never thanked. We knew that our compass needed to be reset, and quickly, so we span off, scattered, in another random direction altogether, our beady young eyes focused, uncluttered. The little child, still toddling, soon looked bemused, ceased looking and stood stock still. Basket in tiny hands swung precariously, but it didn't matter. There was nothing to spill, no eggs at all. Uncle Michael would come to the rescue, take pity on the vacant looks. He'd gather up the child in his burly farmer arms and lift the infant to new nooks. What a joy to find eggs and gather them safely in eager baskets provided by Granny. "How many have you got?" was the cry as the race went on. The reply, "Not many." Some would unwrap the fortune they had found and pop it into a gaping gob. Others of us were far more concerned on building our hoard, doing the gathering job. No time to stop and guzzle. Just hunt, just find. Competition was rife. No time to slack. "There's enough for everyone," the Colonel's command reassured the hunting pack. But the bigger boys had filled their baskets, dipped their bread, got the lion's share, leaving the smallest girl near to tears and rubbing her eyes with inconsolable despair, a look of sheer disappointment that nothing was meant for her, unseen by the host, until one of the others tipped his laden basket over hers, delivering to her the most. Silver and gold eggs tumbled from his possession to hers. What a change in fortuity, and the little girl couldn't believe what she was seeing as she ran to her mummy, with squeals of delight, unbridled Easter joy at cheap chocolate from the village shop. And when all those, mostly family, that were staying for luncheon, to start roll mop, then roast spring lamb and vegetables boiled into submission by Gladys, overcooked, had left the lawns and gardens, the birds had their turn with chocolate eggs overlooked, and nests were lined and sprinkled with foil droppings without the chocolate treats, awaiting the real McCoy from which would hatch the next tumult with noisy inquiring beaks. At this Easter Sunday lockdown, I can only reflect on my childhood when the sun always shone, where hunting for eggs in a gaggle is something to look forward to once the clouds have gone.